Norman Floyd Barnes. We know Benjamin Netanyahu is also a genocidal killer who have killed multiple Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. And today, I have to say that ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has done the same. And finally, Bangladesh and its courts have agreed to warrant her with a death sentence. I want to understand how Norman Floyd Barnes sees this issue as geopolitics in South Asia is also concerned. Mr. Norman Floyd Barnes.
Yes, and greetings from the capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. Today we are absorbing this verdict. It's very clear from the people of Bangladesh in the tribunal that the former Sheikh Prime Minister was found guilty of violations of human rights against the people of Bangladesh. The verdict, however, of death was not received very well, both in the United States and both here, as something, particularly in their absence, not being able to be there to process the due process and the arguments, and to basically to defend. However, the issue is the people and the government of Bangladesh has shown the world that we will not tolerate these type of human rights violations, even from our head of state. So the process now is what happens now after the verdict is in. She's currently in India, most likely will not return to Bangladesh. So the issue is now what happens with this verdict. We have a issue of, we got fairness issues. We got issues of basic, was it too harsh? Was it reasonable? These are things going to come up as we move to the future, and you have the election coming up. How is this going to affect the new administration coming in, and also how does the world see this in terms of dealing with stuff? There'll be other governments. We mentioned Israel, and then we have issues with the prime minister there, Putin. We may have issues here coming up in the future. So how does the world judge and see these things in terms of dealing with their leaders? Do we imprison them? Do we put them to death? Or do we deal with the situation? So it creates a lot of problems, situations going on right now. It brings to attention that you cannot do this and get away with it, that people will not tolerate this. But to what extent now are we dealing with these situations? France has a situation with the former president. He was
Sarkozy,
in prison,
yes.
And released. So we have to look. So we have to measure these type of things. What is fair? What is justifiable? And can we move from this? Can we move on from this and not be stuck in the past? This is the past. Let's move forward.
You have been part of the journalistic aspects of whatever that has been happening in South Asia. And of course, we cannot ignore how we see our neighborhood and how the India out policy has been going on. At this moment, the court in Bangladesh says that there is a fugitive ousted prime minister in our neighboring country, India. What do you think will happen? And do you think that India will bypass this or harboring this ousted prime minister to understand its economic ties with Bangladesh? Mr. Norman Floyd Barnes.
Thank you for that question. It's very interesting. It creates a very geopolitical dynamics between the region, actually South Asia. India and Bangladesh has its differences. The halting of the prime minister as a result of this horrific criminal act against human rights act against the people of Bangladesh is another reason for India to pull itself back from dealing with Bangladesh. The issue, the tension is that, as my colleague mentioned, there's several ways of doing this investigation. The technology is available now that you do not have to be present to basically have a voice. That option was not available. I don't know if it's even offered. Uh, so now we're dealing with a situation where we call justice delayed
It's
or
justice
justice
denied.
compromised.
Yep.
Compromised.
Compromise, right?
So yeah, so some the justice compromised. So by having a rapid, this was considered a very quick verdict investigation and a decision. By doing this, it satisfies, well, it addresses the needs of the victims and their families. That's one thing. But it brings up the perception world that, is this verdict legitimate by not having a person there to talk about why or what's going on? Is it fair? Time to investigate this, and the advent of a technology will allow us to really look into the details and what's going on to get a more fair and equal verdict. But by having a verdict and a person doesn't have a chance to speak for themselves, and more importantly, sentence that person to death and not having the word say anything about it, is not acceptable in the terms of the world.